Welcome everyone. Today's lecture is on anticholinergic drugs. So what are anticholinergic drugs means? These are the drugs which mainly act at the muscarinic receptors of cholinergic system and they are going to block the action of acetylcholine. In simple words, these are the drugs which are going to block the muscarinic action of acetylcholine and they do not have effect on the nicotinic action of acetylcholine. Learning objective. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to classify muscarinic antagonists, explain mechanism of action of muscarinic antagonists, explain pharmacological properties of anticholinergic drugs, and discuss adverse effects of anticholinergic drugs. Anticholinergic drugs. So what are anticholinergic drugs means? They non-selectively block the muscarinic action of acetylcholine. Because of that only, they are also known as anti-muscarinic drugs or muscarinic receptor antagonists because they block the muscarinic action. And why it is called as atropinic means? Because atropine is the prototype drug of anticholinergic drug. Next, why it is called as a parasympatholytic mix? This drug decreases the activity of parasympathetic system or cholinergic system. That is why parasympatholytic. And why it is called as a cholineceptor blocking drugs means these drugs mainly block the cholinergic receptor. In that also they are going to block the muscarinic receptor. Let's see the classification of anticholinergic drugs. Anticholinergic drugs are classified into three main categories. The first one is natural alkaloid. Examples atropine, hyoscine, which is also known as scopolamine. Second category is semisynthetic derivative. Example atropine, methonitrate, mometropine, hyoscine, butyl bromide, ipratropium bromide, and tiotropium bromide. Third category is synthetic compound, and these are further classified into four categories according to the therapeutic uses. First is antisecretory and antispasmodic quaternary compounds. Examples propantheline, oxyphenonium, ridinium, pipenzolate, methylbromide, azopropamide, glycopyrrolate. Under tertiary amines, example dicyclomine, valethamate, and pyrazipine. As mydriatics, examples are cyclopentolate, tropicamide. As basicoselective examples are oxybutyrene, flavoxylate, tolterodine. And as antiparkinsonian, examples are trihexyphenidyl, cyclidine, and piperidine. So let's study in detail about atropine. Why? Because atropine is the prototype drug. So this atropine is obtained from the plant Atropa belladonna, which is also known as deadly nightshade. So atropine is an alkaloid which is obtained from the plant Atropa belladonna, which is also known as deadly nightshade. So what atropine is going to do means it is going to block the muscarinic receptor. By blocking the muscarinic receptor, it is going to inhibit all the muscarinic function, and thereby the atropine is very useful clinically. Let's see the mechanism of action of atropine with the help of a diagram. See, atropine is the competitive antagonist to acetylcholine. So that means it will not allow the acetylcholine to bind to the muscarinic receptor. Instead of that, the atropine is going to bind to the muscarinic receptors and it is going to block all muscarinic action. And this atropine is going to act both centrally and as well as peripherally. And actions of atropine is going to last for 4 hours, except in the eye, that is going to last for days. Let's see the pharmacological actions of atropine. First on CNS. On CNS, atropine is used as CNS stimulant. So it is going to increases the activity of central nervous system. So in central nervous system, it is also going to stimulate many medullary center like vagal center, respiratory center, and vasomotor center. It also depresses the vestibular excitation, and that is why atropine is having anti-motion sickness property. Atropine also suppresses tremor and rigidity associated with Parkinsonism. So that is why atropine is also useful in the treatment of Parkinsonism. When we are going to use high doses of atropine, it may cause cortical excitation, restlessness, disorientation, hallucination, and delirium, followed by respiratory depression and coma. So this was regarding the CNS effect. Let's see the CVS. On heart rate, atropine is going to block the M2 receptor, and by blocking the M2 receptor, it is going to produce a tachycardia, that is increase in the heart rate. Next on BP, the effect is unaffected. It is not going to have any effect on BP, but when you are going to make use of atropine at toxic doses, it may causes the cutaneous blood vessel to undergo vasodilation, and that will lead to atropine flush and thereby hypertension. And eye, when you are going to apply atropine topically on eye, it may causes or produces persistent mydriasis, that is dilation of pupil with absence of light reflex. Next is that it may also causes cycloplegia, that is paralysis of ciliary muscle that will further lead to loss of accommodation. So the person is going to have blurry vision, blurry near vision. And that is why it is very dangerous to use atropine in a person suffering from narrow angle glaucoma. Next, gastrointestinal tract. So atropine is going to reduces the GI motility. That is why it is having an antispasmodic effect, and also it is going to decreases the HCl secretion. On secretion, we will see it is going to decreases the salivation. It is going to decreases the saliva secreted from the salivary gland. So thereby it is going to produces the dryness of mucous membrane. So that condition is known as xerostomia. Next, it is also going to decreases the sweat secretion. So in high doses, it may causes hypothermia, and it also decreases the lacrimal secretion, and that will lead to sandy eyes. Next, we will see the effect on the bronchi. Atropine will produces a slight bronchodilation. So it is going to dilate the bronchi. Urinary tract, it is going to has a relaxant action on ureter and urinary bladder. So urinary retention can occur in older male with prostatic hypertrophy, increase in the prostate gland size. Next, body temperature, there will be rise in the body temperature, and that is going to occur at higher doses. Local anesthetic, it is having a mild anesthetic action on the cornea. Let's see the adverse effect associated with atropine. Dilated pupil, that will result in photophobia, dry mouth, blur vision, sandy eyes, tachycardia, constipation, flush skin, a rise in body temperature, especially in children. CNS, it is going to have restlessness, confusion, hallucination, delirium, depression, and collapse of the circulatory and respiratory system, and death. So atropine poisoning is treated with physostigmine. Let's see the therapeutic uses of atropine. First is that ophthalmic use. So it is basically used as a mydriatic agent to dilate the pupil before the fundus examination and measurement of refractive error. And this atropine is contraindicated in patients with narrow angle glaucoma. Second is it is used as an antispasmodic agent. Why? Because it is relaxing the GIT and bladder muscle. Next, as anti-secretory, it is basically used to decrease the secretion in respiratory tract prior to surgery. And it is used as an antidote for cholinergic agonist, that for the treatment of insecticide and some types of mushroom poisoning, and also to block the effect of excess acetylcholine resulting from acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. And it is also used as cardiac broncholytic. So let's see something about atropine substitutes. Scopolamine, which is also known as hyoscine. It is a plant alkaloid like atropine, and it is having similar effect like atropine, but central actions are greater and longer than atropine. It is most effective as an anti-motion sickness prophylactic drugs, mainly in the transdermal patch. Prophylactic drug means in order to prevent that condition, we can use scopolamine as the most effective anti-motion sickness drug. Ipratropium and tiotropium should be taken by inhalation, and these are the best drug used as a bronchodilator. That means it is going to dilate the bronchi, so that will be useful for the maintenance treatment of bronchospasm associated with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and asthma. And benztropine, which is basically used as a centrally acting antimuscarinic drug, and it is useful in the treatment of Parkinsonism. This complete regarding the anticholinergic drugs. Thank you.